Morning, everyone. How are you doing this morning? My name is Lynn. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, if you've not, I'm glad to have you. How are y'all doing this morning? I am a little discombobulated. Tech issues is running rampant with me this morning, but it's not because, well, yeah, it's probably because I was up a little late last night, and before the sun even come up, my eyes pop open and refuse to shut back. So not nearly as much sleep as I should have. But anyway, I hope your morning is going great. Mine will improve. It is Saturday, and well, you'll see this on Monday, but well, it'll be released on Monday. But I try to give my son enough of a leeway to be able to edit, for me, because I don't have the software on my old ancient computer. But I have news for that in a minute. But anyway, I try to give him, a little time cushion to do his things and then help me out by editing my videos. But anyway, so I was making a market bag. All right. And I will get into the title in just a minute in the name of the video. It ties to that yarn. Oh, let me get the market bag. Sorry about that. Told you I was discombobulated. The technical issue just kind of went poof, and my brain just went right along with it. But it is early enough to where I haven't drank my coffee this morning, so I'm still trying to get that down. But anyway, so I have a bag here. It's just a normal little market bag. It's a free pattern on YouTube by Stephanie Zed, and I'll link her YouTube video down below. But let me tell you, I have made a few market bags, quite a few. And this little lovely right here worked up so fast. Now, I'll show you in a minute. It doesn't look that big, right? It's very deceptive. It doesn't look like it would hold a whole lot. But I will show you in a minute just how big this puppy is. I mean, beyond the fact of the stretch factor, it's the sheer design that she did of the mesh is, I mean, it blew me away. It is to how much, it was very fast, and I thought, well, I've made bigger bags, right? And in fact, I sold one at that Highway 23 yard sale thing. I sold one of my bigger bags, and I'm trying to remember. I keep notes on all my videos of what I need to do for editing and what links I need to do. Hold on, it'll only take me a second, I promise. Okay, no, that was before that. I was hoping that I had the information. All right, well, I will try to look it up in the and put it in the description, because I thought, and see, all this stuff is so far back. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Oh, my brain is just... I'm pretty sure I shared the thing on here with y'all. I'd made it out of a chocolate ombre, the cone yarn from Lily Sugar and Cream. But anyway, it was, I want to say, it was probably about this much bigger in its unstretched form. So it was pretty significant. So I'm thinking, it was, let's see, that thing was about a month ago. I don't know. I'm going to leave my little notebook alone. But anyway, I wouldn't mind doing, I might make another one just so that I can have a side by side comparison of the two and what they will hold. Now, to be fair, that one that I made out of the chocolate ombre, I fit, I want to say 2 boxes of saltines in it. And I'm talking the big box of 4 stacks of saltine tubes in them. Now, I seriously doubt that this will hold it, but I will show you exactly how much this little puppy will hold. But Stephanie did a really good job on the ease of this bag and how quick it can work up. So I might end up I will probably end up, I don't know if I'll make any solid ones. Oops, sorry, I probably hit my microphone just now. I probably won't make any solid ones just yet. But I have a lot of different ombre yarns or variegated yarns. Lily Sugar and Cream tends to call them ombre. Like this color is Emerald Energy ombre. And each color piece does kind of ombre a little bit or has a gradient. I know everybody has different terminologies. They kind of use ombre and gradient interchangeably. And so it does have a slight fade to a different color in some parts. But anyway, I really love this color. I don't have it right here handy. I know I made hand towels for my kitchen out of it. And I knitted a bag out of this color too. And that one was the girlfriend bag. That was a knit market bag, and I still have it. It's just packed up in the totes that I had packed up for that yard sale back at the beginning or the end of it. Actually was May 31st, June 1st, because usually it's the first Friday and Saturday of June. Well, the first Saturday was June 1st, so they ended up doing it May 31st and June 1st. But anyway, I digress. Sorry about that. So I had gotten, you see, you do a thing of single crochets right here, and then you start the mesh, and then when you get 32 rows in, you do another thing. So basically that's all you have. You have this band right here, the mesh, and this band right here, and then you go down the side to make your side borders. Well, I had just made my rows of 6 single crochet on the other end. I'd made the first end, all the mesh, and then this one, and I ran out of my yarn. I really thought I had enough because what I was going to do was I was going to use the rainforest, the solid green color, only to find out when I went to look at my cotton yarn that I was out of it too. And I'm like, oh, come on. And this was last Saturday. So it was a week ago. And I just went to JOANNS and did those 2 big days of buying at JOANNS. So I was like, ew. And my husband's like, really? You needed more yarn? Yes, I did. I didn't know it, but I did. So all of that is to lead up to the main intro into this video. I did go to JOANN's yesterday. Now, in my defense, I wouldn't have thought about this or JOANN's had I not. All right, so when I took my husband, because my husband, with his disability, he has to go to a pain management doctor every month, right? Well, I took him Wednesday for that. And he's like, do you need to go anywhere while we're out and about? I was like, no. He said, you don't need to go to JOANN's for anything? I said, yeah, I just bought all that clearance yarn. No, I don't need to go to JOANN's for anything. I bought enough yarn. Who would have ever thought I would have said that? Not me. But anyway, so I didn't think about this mesh bag then because I was up in Columbia, and y'all know, if you've been with me for a month or two, I live like halfway in between Columbia, South Carolina, and Augusta, Georgia. So those are the only two places that have JOANN's. Each is at least 30 to 45 minutes, depending traffic and how I'm driving that particular day. So I normally don't make special trips to either place just for yarn. So I didn't think about it. We were up in Columbia, and normally I will hit JOANN's once a month if I need to get anything. Well, I wasn't thinking about this mesh bag. I really wasn't. It just kind of went poof right out my brain. So yesterday, all right, we all know, and thank y'all so much for the happy birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. I told my husband, he's like, that tickles you, hun. I'm like, that tickles me so much. These people that watch my videos care enough to tell me happy birthday. That makes me feel great, So I've been telling y'all that my poor little computer is ancient as crap, and it has Windows 7 on it. It's so old. I think, seriously, I think my laptop is about 15 years old, maybe. I think I got it in 2009. It was right after Windows 7 just came out, so I'm thinking it was 2009. But anyway, I know it was before 2011 because I lost my mother in 2011, and I put her picture on my on my screen on my laptop. So I know it was before that, but I'm pretty sure it was 2009. But anyway, the poor thing is so old. And that was one reason why I wasn't trying to edit my own videos, because none of the software is compatible with Windows 7. I mean, we're in Windows 11 territory now, right? So anyway, my husband and I were talking about it at one point when I first started this YouTube journey a few months ago. And he said, are you going to be able to edit your videos? And I'm looking online and everything and trying to find something. And there's editing software that you can have on your phone, but my eyes are not good enough to be focusing on little bitty clips of video on a little bitty phone. No. I told him, I was like, no, not on this computer. And the computer had been giving us, well, my old laptop has been giving us problems for a minute. And I said, well, this computer's going to crap really quick. And my husband's like, oh, it just needs a battery. Because every time I unplugged it and went in to sit on my recliner and do some work, it would last maybe 3 minutes and then shut down. But the battery would still say at 100%. I was like, I don't think that's it. And then when I would try to boot it back up, it was saying it was checking disk and all this, and then it would freeze. So I do think there's something wrong with the computer. It's been forever since I did a defrag on it, so I might need to do that. Anyway, so he, he says, well, look into, I wouldn't even know where to start at nowadays, because he's bought my last two laptops, my last two computers for me as presents. And now, keep in mind, though, the last one was 15 years ago. But anyway, I've been looking, and I was gonna actually, one of my sons, not my editing son, my other son. For those who don't know, I have twin sons. They're 26. But my quote unquote older twin by 30 seconds, he built his own system. So I told my husband, I said, I don't know if I want another laptop. I think I'm ready to go back to the tower, a desktop version. And because I've had two laptops, and the first one lasted decently. The last one, this one right here, my HP, that lasted 15 years. So I have no complaint with my laptops. But I just like, I really don't need a laptop now. I did back when we were doing laptops. And I was like, maybe I'll look for a tower, a desktop. And none of them were really cost efficient. So my older son says, Mom, I'll build you one. I built mine. Okay. He's like, how much were you willing to, are you looking to spend? And I thought I was wanting to spend about $1,000. I thought, until he presented me with that. And then I would have had to buy a monitor on top of it. So originally he looked at the laptop I had seen, which had the AMD Ryzen 7 processor. Now, I've always been an Intel girl, always been an HP girl. But everything that I've been reading was saying that the AMD Ryzen 7 can outpace most of the Intel processors on the market right now. I was like, okay. Since I don't know 100% where this path of YouTube's going to lead me, I wanted some processing power that I could use and grow. So, I'm sorry, this is not a tech channel. I'm going to get off of all that. But needless to say, I showed him the laptop that I wanted. Well, not that I wanted, that I like the qualifications and the specifications of. So he took those and started building me on a website. He started building me this computer. And it had a ton of expandability. So I could have gotten more as the years went by if I needed it. But the price tag would come in right at about $1,000 just for hardware. And that's not counting the monitor, because I would have wanted a big monitor, because, hello, blind as a bat over here. And I was like, while I appreciate him constructing, what it would be, and doing all that legwork to find out if he could build me one and for how much, I didn't want to spend $1,000. I just thought my budget was going to be $1,000. I'm too cheap for that. I really am. So I went looking again at laptops. Now, originally I wanted a 17-inch screen like my old one has, right? But I ended up finding an Asus, which shocked me because I never thought I would go outside of HP. But I found an Asus that was almost half the price, and it still had the same the specifications that I wanted. It had the same amount of RAM. It had the same amount of store. Actually, it had more storage. Um, and I told my husband, I said, okay, nope, this is what I want. And he got it for me. Well, it was going to be a birthday present, right? But Best Buy had to ship it, and we chose to let Best Buy ship it to the nearest Best Buy store so that we didn't run the risk of it getting damaged and on the way here and not having any, recourse. Which I know they say you can get it fixed, and yeah, no. I just wanted to hedge my bets, and if he was going to drop, that little chunk of money on something, I wanted it to take the safest route possible. So he tells me yesterday, he says, I got the text alert stating that your laptop is over at Best Buy. Now, mind you, I'm sitting in my recliner, weaving in the ends on that Moogly blanket, which I still haven't had. I was going to show that as a finished make, but I still have to weave the ends in, and that's going to take me a day at least, because I'll tell you all about that when I show y'all. But anyway, I looked up at him, dropped my hook. I said, let's go. Let's go. So a trip to Augusta to go get my laptop ended up being a little more. I said, well, I seen the partial market bag, and I said, I need to run by JOANNS so I can get another cone of this Emerald Energy, which I was kind of nervous because it didn't show on the website, JOANNS website, or the app. But the last time I was in there last week, I noticed that the cone shelf was stacked full of colors they didn't even have on the app, because I'm sitting there looking at my app, looking for a particular color, and they didn't have it down there, but they had a ton more that wasn't on the app. So I was crossing my fingers, y'all. I was crossing my fingers. So we ended up going to JOANNS, and I did find my yarn, which I've already used it to complete the bag, but it frustrates me to no end. Oh, and they didn't have any rainforest in the 4-ounce cone. Well, they didn't. They definitely didn't have it in the cone. But they didn't have it in the 4 ounces. So I didn't mind to do the whole thing in Emerald Energy. Didn't mind a bit. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, let me put my little market bag. I don't know how long I've been talking to y'all, and I'm sorry. Oh, we all know that when I get started, I kind of go over. I tend to talk a lot. So that was all my intentions, right? But I was in the cotton section, and y'all know that I bought that mod blue and beach glass last Friday because it was on clearance for $1.97. Well, I go in to get that Emerald Energy, and I see another red tag. Well, actually, it's the same red tag, but I see some more. It's beach glass. So, all right, hold on. Ah! I had beach glass going everywhere. All right, hold on. Oh, ah! All right. So So, sorry. 6 of these puppies. 6. Oh, goodness. Let me tell you, I was so super excited for this. My husband come around the corner. He went to the restroom. And I never have to apologize for my yarn, ever. My husband and I don't work that way. But I was feeling funny and cute and, all those things. And I was like, oops, baby, sorry. I said, but they still had it on clearance, and they must have found more because I found more. So that's what I had. All right, I had those 6 4-ounce balls, and then the comb. And then he said, "Well, what about that other yarn that you were talking about?" And I said, "Oh yeah, the Lion brand, the 24/7. I think he asked me about it. I don't know. I tend to think differently, and I have." Let me just say, yarn fumes are a real thing. You don't think right when you're around yarn. So I did. I'm gonna show this just to remind y'all, and um, this bag right here, my beach bag that I did. This is in the Lion brand 24/7 yarn, right? The 24/7 cotton. And I told y'all that stuff's expensive. It's like almost $7. It's like $6.50 or $6.79, somewhere around there. It's expensive. So I had only bought enough for that bag and then my bulldog colored beach bag that I made right after that. And I told y'all I wanted to make a purse size bag of that in that pattern because I think that would be cute, especially in bulldog colors, right? So I'm sorry about the plastic bag rattling, but I got a lot of yarn on my lap. So anyway, JOANNS has, I think it was, hang tight, hang tight. I made sure I had my receipt handy. Okay, so it was on sale for $3.99. All right, which is almost unheard of anymore because since I made those bags, I've been waiting on JOANNS to have a sale on Lion Brand 24/7. And I had not seen one, but they had it on sale for $3.99. And when I got that ad or whatever, they send me text alerts. But anyway, when I got that earlier in the week, and I'm like, ooh, so I got excited. And I was gonna get. They had 3. They only had 3 of these, and I was gonna get that third one. I was like, no, I'm gonna put it down to the side. You know what? I don't think I matched the dye lots up on this because they do look a shade different. Normally, I'm really good about that. Yeah, nope. One was made in November of 2023, and one was made in March. So no. But in all probability, none of the 3 probably had dye lots that matched. But that's okay. As long as I am very careful how I place my stripes, it won't matter. So I bought this, or I could just make sure one's the top and one's the bottom. We'll see. So I bought this thinking, okay, I may do an. Oh crap! I didn't buy enough. Anyway, so also I had a 20% off my entire purchase in store or online coupon because that's the only coupon they had this week. But online they had a generic 40% off. So I got my cone with 40% off, which was like $9.59, I think. Make sure I have that receipt because I do them separate when I do things like this. Yeah, so it was $9.59 before tax. So it was like $10.40 after tax for my cone yarn. And then I wanted to, because I wanted to use 40% off on that one and the 20% off this one. And I, sorry, you can't do, two coupons in the same transaction. So, for my Lion Brand and the sugar and cream 4 ounces, I used the 20% off. So, okay, hold on. I'm going to do, this is the easiest way for me to do it. So this is the way I'm going to do it. So I got 2 whites, 2 aqua, 2 silver, or 2 gray rather. All right, hold on. Now, this can be 1 bag. And this is why I said, shoot, I didn't get enough. Because I only got 2 whites. Now, 2 is enough for one of the big beach bags. I don't know how much one of the small ones that I'm going to turn into a handbag will need. So I should have got 3 or 4. But I might have a little bit left of the white that I did, before. All right, so 2 black. I'm going to try to stack this up and hope it doesn't fall. There we go. See? I love it. This is all my 24/7 cotton yarn that I got. And the red and black will be for my Georgia Bulldog purse. Now, what I can do, actually hang tight 1 second. I don't like doing this many times, getting up, but so this is my Georgia beach bag. Ah, crap, that's another thing I forgot. I have been meaning to get my braided rope to put on this bag. But see how on this one I have the white and black stripe? On the small bag, since I don't have a whole lot of white, I might just make it red and black instead of red, white, and black. So that would take up probably all 4 skeins of the 2 red and the 2 black. I might work that up and see if I like it. I might not. I might not like just the red and black. I might want that extra. Oh, but you know what? Push comes to shove, I could add gray in there and have that as my, separating stripe, because I'm a big college football fan. Our Georgia Bulldogs have silver breeches, so I could use this as a separator. But if I did that, then I wouldn't have enough for aqua bag. Dilemmas, dilemmas, dilemmas. So, you know how I was telling y'all that I was weaving in the ends of that Moogly rainbow blanket? Because I finally got my yarn from Hobie. Well, it wasn't just JOANNS this week. I got this from Hobie in with my yarn that I ordered for, that I got in for the rainbow blanket. So this is I ordered that, and then I ordered this because I want to try the unstranded yarn again. I haven't messed with it for about 5 or 6 years. So I showed y'all that piece that I was going to probably take apart and make a knitted Georgia shirt for, or tank top or something for my niece. This is Cotton King Sultan. It is 100% cotton, and they're saying this is a 2. But now, remember what I just said. This is not stranded. This is 4 strands. This is not spun. I'm trying to separate it a little. So this is 4 strands, and I hope you can see this, unspun. But I've worked with it before, and I like it. And I was trying to stay, not really on a budget, but I was trying to keep my yarn spending in mind, because I had just already done, I can't remember what I'd ordered. Oh, I had ordered those cotton yarns from Made in America, those big cones. And I was trying to keep my yarn spending to a minimum, and then I blew that away on my birthday. So I saw this, and I'm like, I really like the way that they did this color. And y'all know I'm an aqua freak. Teal, aqua, It is funny because I'm not really a big fan of green, but it has its purpose in my yard life. But I could totally make this something wearable for me. I really could. And it's soft. Now, they had some prettier colors in 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. But that's what that other one was that I bought, that actually, the one that I used 5 or 6 years ago wasn't, I didn't buy it. A friend of mine bought it for me. So I didn't get to pick. And it was 50% cotton and 50% acrylic, which is not bad. Okay. But I wanted to see what a 100% cotton would feel like, because I love their Friends cotton, and it's very soft, and that's what I'm loving about that Moogly baby rainbow blanket. So I wanted to give the cotton a try, and bamboo, like a bamboo cotton blend. I love that feel. I love cotton. Y'all got to know I love cotton as much as I use Lily Sugar and Cream. And now I did have someone ask about peaches, or say something about peaches and cream. Now, peaches and cream and Lily Sugar and Cream, they're both made by the same company. They're pretty much the same. And there's a caveat on that. There's an exception. Or, well, no, not an exception. There is I can't think of the word right now. All right. If you've ever bought Red Heart Super Saver from Walmart, and you bought Red Heart Super Saver from JOANNS, you're going to feel a quality difference. And you're going to see more knots in one versus the other. So manufacturing, and I know this because I've worked in manufacturers. I used to work in a plant that manufactured flywheels for, lawnmowers, weed eaters, chainsaws. And we had quality control specifications for each company that we were making product for. So when we had an order for Husqvarna, yeah, they didn't want any faults. They didn't want any Husqvarna and Steel. I think those are the two most high quality control specifications that we had. And then we had Poland and I can't remember what the other one was. It was a weed eater brand, but I can't remember right now. This has been in 96, 97. Yeah, it's been a long time ago. But in Michelin, where my husband worked, was the same way. Toyota tires, you couldn't have any blemishes on them. You know, they were very high quality standards. And then you had lower standards. I'm not naming names, but I did it on the weed eater, sorry. But same thing with yarn. You have certain places that have higher quality control standards. So in your box stores, you have a hierarchy level, I'm sure. Well, that's what peaches and cream versus sugar and cream are, I think. Sorry, my nose ring is trying to come out. Peaches, sugar, and cream you can only find at Walmart, or that's the only place I've seen, because I think they make peaches and cream specifically for Walmart. And Lily sugar and cream. Now, I've used both, okay? And I can tell a slight difference in the two. Um, e every now and again, this gets my hands dry, but usually it's a factor. It might be weather, it might be, you know, my different chemistry, because we all know women, our chemistry's all over the place depending on what time of the month you're at. And I mean, you know, let's face it, our body's constantly fluctuating. So, but for the most part, it doesn't dry my hands out, you know, and if it does, I have lotion on hand that I can, you know, sounds like I need to right now. But I have lotion on hand that I can solve that problem. No, you know, no issue. But I have not been dissatisfied with my Lily sugar and cream. And I know everybody's like, and not just my commenter, most people, I've had people say this to me at the store. I don't know how you use that. That stuff's so rough. Well, as Jennifer says, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. She's Jennifer at Cinnamon Stitches. She has um, a lot of skin issues, and things irritate her like they don't other people. Well, I think that's the same for most everybody. It's a sensory thing for most, though. With her, her body literally attacks itself if she uses certain yarns, which is Red Heart Super Savers, one of the biggest ones. But I don't have that problem. The only thing is mine is if it's poor wool, poorly processed wool. And I think it irritates a lot of people. So, and it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't break me out. It doesn't, you know, my body doesn't fight me on it. It's just uncomfortable. But I have no problem with Lily sugar and cream. I have no problem with Super Saver, you know. Most of the commercial yarns I don't really have a problem with. That being said, I forgot I forgot what started me on that tangent. But I love my cotton yarn. And oh, that's what it was. So when it comes to cotton yarn, you know, you have your low range, which cost effectiveness, this is not the cheapest. It's definitely cheap. It's cheaper. But let's face it, Walmart's peaches and cream, you can get cheaper than sugar and cream. But I will say now, I can get Lily sugar and cream from JOANNS with coupons cheaper than I can get at Walmart, because Walmart doesn't take coupons for those things. So it's all perspective, you know. And some of the cotton yarn that I have used in the last couple years, I haven't got bougie, but I could see me getting bougie with my cotton yarn. I mean, let's face it, I use Lily Sugar and Cream. I use Timu cotton. Now, Timu's got some good bamboo cotton blends. That's some really good stuff. And price point wise, it's a little above, it's not quite mid range, but it's kind of in that area. Some go a little below, some go a little above, but nothing super expensive. Now, Hobie, their bamboo cotton, oh, I could use that day in, day out. Um, and that's not even bougie. I mean, yes, Hobie, their cotton yarn is a little bit more expensive than normal. Um, but usually I wait till I can get that on a sale too. Because we all know I don't really pay full price for yarn if I can help it. Um, but I don't want to sacrifice quality when I'm wanting something in particular in mind. In that particular, the Hobie bamboo cotton was that first knit tank top that I'd made for my niece in bulldog colors, of course. Because you know that girl's been a Georgia girl since she was old enough to walk, and she's 27. So anyway, uh, I didn't mean to buy all this yarn. Now this I wanted to try, and I'm gonna make up a top. I just don't know what top I want to make yet. So if y'all have any suggestions, I'm really not a super big fan of the mesh type on my body. Um, and I'm not 100% sure why. Now we all know that for the last 8 years I have been heavier than I have my whole life since I quit smoking. But I'm getting back down. Thankfully, my knees are so grateful. But I still don't know if I would be happy with the mesh type, the way it would drape, or I just don't know. I mean, I will take those if you have them. But if you have any suggestions for what I could do with this yarn, please. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all the yardage, just in case you do find a pattern that you think I might like. It says it is 874 yards, 800 meters. So give me a, oh, and it's the standard 100, the Okio Tex. I know I just I just mauled that. But anyway, I would love some suggestions. I don't have a clue what I want to make with it yet. It's going to be a summer top of some kind, simply because of the material and the color. So y'all let me know. Well, for that, I've done confessed all my yarn haul. And now I'm going to get off here and get back to weaving those ends in on that blanket so that I can finally consider that one done. I hope y'all have a great day. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that we get that rain that we've been promised for 3 weeks. I'd love it. Right now I'm looking at the sunshine. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.